Greetings from Camooweal. We're only 2 days away from Darwin now. The Northern Territory border is only about 10 k's up the road, so we're just here having one of our usual lunch treats. We've got snags today on the barbie, which Maddie's cooking. We've got to fill out all of our paperwork to get over the border, so we're just taking a moment to do that. And then 500 k's today and about 800 tomorrow, and that will get us into Darwin just in time to hopefully get these engines built. We've had quite an enjoyable and safe trip so far. It's been great to show all the guys some of Outback Australia. We've made a point of visiting as many places as possible, creek beds for lunch and lakes and bits and pieces like that. A few pubs. We actually stopped at the pub that Mick Dundee did some filming at for Crocodile Dundee yesterday, or might have been the day before, which was really good for the guys, especially the ones that are from the UK and New Zealand and around the world that are working with us on the team, to see what Australia is really like out in the middle of nowhere. Certainly not what they're used to in Melbourne. So far so good. We're trying to eat quite well. We're trying to almost live off the grid a little bit with all of our own groceries and cooking with all of our equipment on the coach. So it's been an absolute blast, and can't wait to get to a racetrack and get these cars going. Well, we finally made it to Hidden Valley Raceway up here in Darwin. After a really good road trip, actually. We had a lot of places that we got to visit and had quite a good time with all the crew, and everyone's arrived here in good spirits. It's a little bit later than what we thought. It's actually the Monday of the race meeting, as things had been postponed for a week, which has turned out quite good for us, because we're going to have a few late nights getting these engines back together for the original date, but now we've got a few days to get it done. And again, we had a weekend off here in Darwin to visit all the sites, which was fantastic. So just unpack the heads. They've arrived, new valve guides. Because we aren't actually supposed to pull the engines apart for a certain amount of kilometres, around 4,000, we haven't been able to give the heads a full reco. So you'd normally cut all the valve seats and make everything nice, but this was an emergency situation where we just had to replace the guides. So we've only done that, and all the heads have gone back together how they were, which is perfectly fine. So they just need a good clean now. Little makeshift engine shop here in one of the garages. There's an engine here which still has to come apart and get the modification done. One up on the stand, one in the box, and we had to put one back in Rick's car just to transport the engine here, as we didn't have enough boxes. So from this point, everything's laid out, ready to go. Tools are set up, all the snap-on gear. We just need to give everything a really good clean, and then head studs in, gaskets on, heads on, torque everything up, rockers, push rods, rockers, manifold, and hopefully we should be able to almost knock 2 engines over today, maybe another one tomorrow, and then we'll be set for the weekend. Well, that was quite an enjoyable day at the office to be able to get on the tools again for a change, and we made pretty good progress today. It was a late start as we had to do our inductions here at Hidden Valley this morning and also unload the truck and everything. So we got one engine done, that's been replaced by a pile of tyres. The engine's sitting in front of car 7 ready to go, and made good progress on this one as well. So heads are on, all torqued up. Tomorrow's an easy morning. We just have to put the rocker stands on, put all the rockers on, set those, valley tray, inlet manifold, a little bit of wiring and alternators and things. So within 2 or 3 hours of arrival tomorrow morning, this one will be ready for car 15. Then one of these two has to come apart and have these new heads swapped over. So we actually don't have the third set of heads yet. We expect those to arrive at the motel if they haven't today, hopefully tomorrow, and then we can get ourselves a good usable spare engine. So far so good.
Do you want to throw those bellows and bolts in, Ray?
Yep. So you're in at the front?
Yeah, I'm in. Firing!
What's that idling at there? Whack a chunk in those. Yeah, no, that's all right. Go another 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, bank. Just want the other 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we're back in business. We've got 2 cars with 2 engines in them that actually run now, which is good news. It's still early days in the week of the race. We still haven't received our cylinder heads in the freight, so we haven't yet pulled the spare engine apart to convert it over to these heads, but at least we're up and running with the cars. You might have noticed in the video there was a little tuning, backyard tuning you could say, just to get the engines running nice. You'd normally have all of this stuff sorted out on the dyno. We have the luxury of having a lambda sensor in every single header pipe on the dyno. In the car, you're only allowed 2 sensors, which are right back in the tailpipe. So all of the idle tuning you can do easily on the dyno because you can see exactly what each cylinder is running like. As we don't have that luxury here, it's all about looking and listening to what's going on. So you can see every now and then one of the runners will have a little bit of a sneeze, and you can see by the pipes how they're running. So you have to manually go in and a little bit of trial and error tune all of that out. It's really only the part throttle stuff, and the reason that's an issue is because we've had the whole top of the engine apart. We've tried to keep the manifold intact, but even so, just taking it on and off is enough just to slightly upset where all the butterflies sit, which causes the issue. Once the throttle's cracked open, they run fine. So we may need 1 or 2 outings just to get it absolutely spot on once the cars hit the track, but certainly a good start to the weekend.